This is a video for purposes of recording my journey, how I will pass my Hungarian cultural exam for permanent residence card. If you're a foreigner in Hungary, you know what is happening in Hungary. So I decided to record it. Today is, let me check, today is 15th of May and I have my exam, I think, June 17th, if I'm not mistaken. I'm preparing quite slowly, but I would like to record a journey and share with you how it's going. Let me show you my papers. I printed the document that the administration shared, and I also translated, I made a summary, not a translation, but a summary within ChatGPT in English, just to know what is the context below, and I asked ChatGPT to generate possible questions that I can have based on the document, and these questions I printed it out in Hungarian, so I was not even translating it, because it's very important to more or less understand the question in Hungarian to be able to answer. So I printed everything, and now I'm reading it through all these materials, and so far I can tell you one thing what I understood. For me, it's much easier to make a sort of associations with the specific Hungarian words. That's how I can memorize it, because my Hungarian knowledge is like A1, A2, and yeah, I can understand a lot, but I can't speak, I can't write, so we will see how it will be and how this story will end up. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if I can pass it or not. We will see. But so far, this is what I have in 2 days. Today is the day. Today I have a Hungarian cultural exam. And yeah, I didn't do anything with my hair yet, so I also need to make something with my hair. I don't know what to expect. I did all these steps that I mentioned before, and let's see how it will go. And yeah. Before I start to describe how my exam went, a quick spoiler, of course, maybe it's already second one, I passed the exam, and I just wanted to give you a short explanation how everything went, because I know that if you're planning to pass this exam, you will be a bit scared, you don't know what to expect and so on. So let me share my experience and some tips. Let's get started. I came a bit earlier to this administration office and I saw some people were there already waiting, and I decided just to wait until the bodyguard, or I don't know how to call this person, opens the door. And when the time was already approaching to go in, he was starting to speak in Hungarian, but I understood that okay, we need just to go somewhere straight. And there was a huge room with the three I think representatives. They were also explaining the whole process in Hungarian language, but it was also understandable that they will give pens, there will be paper, they were telling something about time. I don't know how, but I could understand what's happening. There was like a huge room with the tables in a square format, and we were sitting next to each other. They started to give the paper, which already had the information about you, which you need to fill, like your name and everything, after you already could see the questions. In my case, I had only multiple choice questions. I was preparing to actually write the hymnals, but I didn't have. I was shocked because I never heard that there is like an option to have this. Next to me there was a woman. After the exam we were chatting with her, and she actually had 2 open questions. That is why the tip number 1, of course, learn the hymnals, the sozad, like you can learn 4 lines, not 8. If you can learn 8, go for it. Just be prepared. When I saw the questions, you could see also how many points it will give. And in order to pass the exam, you need to have a specific amount of points. It will be also written in the paper. So basically what I did at first, answered those questions where I was sure. The hardest one I left at the end, and I was also calculating where I was sure, like okay, how many points I will have approximately. What about the hard questions? All topics were related to everything what was mentioned in the PDF file, but the hardest part was there were questions like true or false. The question was in a sentence, like a statement. The hardest part was to understand it. What I can recommend here is not to learn only, like, for example, the date and what happened, but also these key words, like, for example, war, writer, songwriter, and so on. Because if you see this word in a question or a statement, you can understand what is they are talking about. For example, death penalty and so on. So that is why we are going to another tip from me. It doesn't make sense to ask people who passed the exam, oh, which questions did you have, and so on, because they have several versions and you never know what you will have. And if you learn only based on others people's experience, you will face with the situation that there will be some questions totally new or in another form and you won't be able to answer. So I really can recommend just print this PDF file that they shared and go through this file all the time. Learn it, make associations, as I already mentioned previously, and so on. Once you are done, you're just giving the paper to the person and you can leave the room to wait outside. That is the part when you need to wait outside when everyone will finish. Once everyone will finish the test, there will be waiting time when all these 3 representatives, they will just check how many points everyone got, prepare the certificates. It's approximately 1.5 to 2 hours. This place where you will wait, it has toilets, but you won't have an opportunity to buy something, so there is no like any canteen and so on. So I can recommend to take some snacks and also to take some water with you. And after that, when the representatives will be ready, they will tell you to come to the room and they will start to announce the results. They are calling one by one person and you are collecting the certificate, signing the form, and you can already leave or you can wait until the end. I heard my name, I came, collected the paper, and it says just passed or not passed. So in my case it was that I passed, but I don't know how many points I got at the end. And I basically left. I didn't wait until the end of the ceremony, and that's all. When I left, I realized the whole test was not hard. It's about understanding and of course remembering this information. If you know the information, you will understand that the questions were ridiculous. For example, I had a question, it was for how many years the parliament is being elected, and the answers were 4, 10, 20. It's obvious it was 4, but you are not able to answer the question if you're not understanding the question. You just need to learn the material once again and everything will be fine. Regarding the timeline, I applied for the exam and I asked for a bit later date. I received the date in 2 months after the application, but usually they give within 1 month if all places are not reserved. I was reading the material maybe 2-3 times per week, and 1 week before the exam I was reading it every day. What also helped me was that I was writing some of the materials by hand. That's how I can memorize the things better. Overall, I said everything. Please don't worry. I'm wishing you all the best. I'm sure you can pass and go for it. When you apply, you will have a lot of motivation to learn, so it's totally fine that you don't have motivation before the application. Apply, pay the fee, and start the preparation. Good luck. I hope this video was useful. Please put a like so I will see that it was useful, and if you have any additional comments or questions, feel free to add them and I will answer.